And nobody gotta tell you what you wanna do. Let's get live. Hi friends, it's Lucia. I'm here to talk about the idea of being stuck in our boxes and how that might be a pathway to liberation. I was singing, and that's one of the things we're gonna do at the Brava retreat on Friday is do art that we're not good at, with the intention of just doing it because it feels good. Wow, the world is your oyster. Once you open up to the possibility that you can do things that you're not gonna be good at and that you're not gonna make money at, we're never going to be bored again. Today, we are talking about the idea of being stuck with ourselves, stuck with you. Kind of a human experience is to be restricted, right? And now more than ever, we're restricted. So depending on what you believe, if you happen to believe that we, are life force energy and we come incarnate into human bodies, that by definition, humanity is a restriction. We're stuck inside ourselves. And so we do so many things to get outside of ourselves, right? We want to explore, we want to go places, we want to have new experiences, we want to fuck new people. Human atoms are like storage devices, and DNA is storage devices, and our actual atoms store information. And we can hold 13.5 billion bits of data in our atoms. I don't know the exact measurement of those. And that is actually the age of the universe. So in a very real way, we have a universe inside of ourselves that we can explore. And I know it's like, what a bummer, because we'd rather explore the outer world and all the outer things and all the material things. And it's that hard pill to swallow that the real shit comes from inside, and that we could have all the blessings in the world, we could have all the experiences in the world, and they could feel dull as fuck if we don't have an internal life happening. So that's what we're going to talk about today, and we're also going to talk about how the Brava retreat on Friday is all about just illuminating, opening up our fucking gates of perception so that we don't ever feel restricted, that there's a top upper 1% that likes to control us as consumers. And the truth is that the human spirit is so fucking strong. You put restrictions on people and their spirit only grows. Anything that we feel is imposing on us, tamping down our independence as we come to Independence Day, is actually only enabling us to touch into our humanity, to touch into our spirit, and to actually experience more. I love doing sample studies of one. I think it's story time is special to me. When I first moved to Los Angeles, I came here guns a-blazing. I developed the character of Brava out of making fun of my own just obsessive compulsive ambition, that part of my brain that's thinner, faster, better, stronger. So I came to LA and I was I'm gonna be a famous actress. Immediately I was just working out all day long and not eating, because I thought, well, if I'm fitter than every other actress, then I'll win something. And the something is the question. I ended up tearing my meniscus. So 2 weeks into living in Los Angeles with no friends or family, I'm on the couch asking my roommate to buy me Trader Joe's groceries. Within a month of that, I started feeling a lot of severe pain. I came back to New York for a job, and I was in such extreme pain that I was just on the ground. I couldn't even walk to the door to get takeout or whatever. I'm out of commission. Fast forward, I'm driven. My dad drives me to my mom's house in New Jersey, and so I went from I'm going to Hollywood to I'm living in New Jersey. Over the course of a few months, I start just declining in health to the point where I can't even actually swallow my own spit. Babies, I'm staying up all night just spitting into a cup because it hurt so much to swallow. So you can imagine how severely malnourished I was. I ended up being diagnosed with a autoimmune disorder, which now I'm on drugs for. There's a place and a time for drugs, and they've helped me be a human, so I'm grateful for them. But in that restriction period, I went through a period where I couldn't walk because of my knee injury. I was still recovering, so I had a limp. I could not speak. I could not eat solid food. Going through that portal of having everything, all of my freedoms taken away, when I had just been at the point where I was literally I'm escaping New Jersey, escaping my mom. That was a huge part of moving to LA. Let's be real. It was that I need to get the fuck out of this place and vet myself. And then I land all the way swing back, little fucking baby in my mom's house in New Jersey, no energy in my body, literally have to write out to speak, and I can't walk. So it's if we ever wanted a metaphor for being under restrictions, what a great metaphor, right? And that's, you know, a lot of the psychology of the moment for the collective now is like we had all these things that we were planning on 2020, like the portals opening, like gateways opening, like let's fucking get it, like we're free, and then slammed into reality. Like the Bernie Sanders dream is like crashed into wear a mask and stay home. And I actually had a conversation with this woman, Eunice, on the phone, and she said, you feel like you're dying, but really you're being reborn, and just like let go right now. Just let fucking go. Because the more you like pump the brakes, the more it's going to be painful. In that, I started doing like really slow walks around the block and like just breathing, inhaling, exhaling. And for the first time, I was like, oh, taking a shower is as valuable as sending an email. Like every moment is as valuable, and actually life becomes richer the more I actually breathe into this presence. So it's all cliche until you experience it. It's like nobody wants to hear your story from the top of the mountain when you're like, I climbed to the top of Griffith and I realized I'm small and big. We get it. But like direct experience is the thing. So then since then it like set me on the path of like, I want to continue to remember, and that's the Buddha's last word. One of the Buddhas, the last word he said was remember. So I want to continue to remember that truth and not get caught up in the matrix. I have done like a few courses of Vipassana where you sit for 10 days and don't talk. I just recently did a week of silence. I play with restrictions. Almost every spiritual or religious work includes some sense of like putting restrictions on, and I believe the reason is because when we have those restrictions, we actually have an invitation to like go the direction that actually teaches us stuff inside, so that when we go out, like the world looks different and we can actually perceive it, and we can clarify and see with a pristine mind. Also, we take in so much information in every second. It's really, really helpful to restrict ourselves to be able to like have our own access to the information that's inside of ourselves. And the weird dance of life is that it gives us shit that we maybe aren't even looking for. So right now we are all in an opportunity, and I think almost all of us, like we're all growing so exponentially. And so if you're feeling like a call to develop more of that internal world and develop those perceptions, and to really, I mean, I love that book. Is it The Stranger? He said, like, if I spent one day in the real outer world, I could spend a year or a life in jail just going through each of those moments. So that's the real work of the artist. And in all my interviews with Talia, Brava, like all these amazing people, they've all had periods of time where they had no friends, or they were just like in a basement being the other that like no one wanted to talk to. And as much as that seems less fun than being invited to all the parties, it's what develops character, is like being inside ourselves. Yeah, Rick, I really want to hear your stories because, dude, you've been through it. I know that. Then just to talk about what's going to happen Friday, it's going to be co-led by Talia, Brava, and me. And the way that works is like I sort of set the stage, and then Brava is like the kind of more wild card, and it just like enables us to like be more playful with all the practices. We're going to do some solo explorations in your confined areas with your masks on, just to see if you can actually experience anew and feel like you're actually in that wonderland. Because it's actually, it's just like improv. It's like the more we can go into that moment, or romance or anything, the more we can go into the specificity of the moment, the more we find there. So we're going to be doing that with the external world. And then also working with opening up different ways of perceiving that world, whether it's through drawing or writing, and then getting some like intel. So it's like letting life be that conversation. And I think, you know, whatever you believe, whether you believe that like birds talk to you, or you believe that a bird's presence opens up something in you, it doesn't really matter. But just letting the external world open up a conversation with ourselves, so we can start to really have more of that dialogue back and forth, to tap into really our own higher wisdom. Oh, thank you, Missy. Nice to see you. And then we're going to do a little future imagining of like what we want to feel and know and see in the world, and then see if we can like actually go out on that exploration and like find evidence of it, because we're always proving some hypothesis. There's so much information, and our brains are sorting systems, and the ego just loves verification. So we're going to play with this idea in a real fantastical way and see if we can actually experience and come to find evidence for the world that we actually seek to create. And then we're also going to be doing some free form channeled art that's going to suck.